This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, hope all of you can see my screen. Okay, is there anyone who did not attend the demo session and wanted any debrief before we actually get into the topic?
Hi, this is Uday. I did not attend the demo session, but I got the recording. I saw it. Um,
Okay,
I think I got a high level, but the very first question you asked in the demo class, I don't have uh, a core IT background.
okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, even
So one,
even I. This is Rahul.
yeah, Rahul. Okay. Rahul, did you go through the video, the recording?
Yep, I did go through on that. The high level should be fine, but if you could say just recall it, that would be great.
Okay, sure. Okay, so let's just go through a couple of the fundamentals of cloud and then we'll get into AWS, right? So, the best thing I always ask people to refer is actually go to the wiki page on any topic. It's not just only cloud. On any topic, it will be easy for you all, okay, to have a good reference point. Okay. So the cloud computing overall, if you want to understand the cloud computing, first thing you need to understand the overall structure of any application that you wanted to develop, right? In general, at a high level, of course, there will be multiple layers that usually people will be looking at, but fundamentally, there are three types of layers at high level. Okay, one is application, second one is platform, third one is infrastructure, and you're down to develop any software application. So, application is basically what is a specific thing that you want to develop to serve your customers. Okay, it can be a monitoring application which will look at all your existing applications performance, and it can be content like any online newspaper or HTML pages or anything. It can an interactive collaborative tool, or it can be a communication tool just like go to, or it can be a financial application, maybe a small application or some spreadsheets or anything. Okay. So these are basically called as applications. But in order to make sure this application is running, you need a platform. So platform in the sense, it's not just your application or your code alone will be able to run or talk to directly to the infrastructure or the hardware, right? You definitely need something in between. That is actually platform. So platform, what does platform contain? So your platform is basically your runtime. Okay, so let's say if you are running a Java application, okay, so your JRE, Java Runtime Engine, okay, is nothing but that one of the platform pieces actually. Okay, and similarly, when you wanted to run any application, you will have some object storages and you will have authentication and authorization, and obviously you will be using some databases to store the data. And most importantly, if your application wanted to talk to other applications, then you definitely need to use some queues, either MQ queues or Kafka and these kind of queue facilities. Okay, it needs to use. So it's all about what are those underlying mechanism that is required to smoothly run your application. Okay, it's called platform. Okay, but at the same time, the one most primary thing is actually, so where this platform exists, obviously it is going to exist on top of a hardware, right? Okay, so your entire infrastructure is nothing but hardware in the sense your basic compute, which is your servers that you have installed, and what's your storage, that means all your hard disks, everything that's connected, and the underlying networking cables are the networking that's actually connecting all these servers and everything. Okay, that's basically called infrastructure. Okay, so when you look at these three layers, okay, and if you look at the traditional way of computing, okay, or what you can call is on-prem computing. Okay, generally every company need to invest in all these areas. They will be having their own network, they will be having their own compute hardware and all. They'll have their own platforms and they develop their own applications. But how efficiently or effectively they're going to use each and every individual company, how much time or percentage that they are going to use of all this compute, hardly like 10-20% of the entire compute they will be used. And it's one way, it's not an optimal way of actually using this entire compute, and unnecessarily they will end up paying so many costs involved in each and every of these things. So imagine if you can actually put all these things, okay, in a common place and let all the companies use this compute platform, application, everything, okay, from that common place by sharing the resources actually. Okay, so that is what is called cloud. Okay, cloud is nothing but, okay, keeping things common across, not having any personal tagging or not having any locking mechanism of these assets. It is a common shared infrastructure and a common shared platform or applications. Okay, and there is actually a concept called virtual infrastructure. Okay, or virtual computing, or maybe you might have seen like VMware and all these kinds kind of hypervisor and all these kind of things. Okay, in your organizations, those are the virtualization of your computing within your own company. Okay, whereas cloud is something which is outside of your company. And you may have a question around, okay, can't we have my own private cloud? Yes, obviously you will be having your own private cloud. You can dedicate some of this entire space and then create your own cloud and then use it. But again, it's your own private cloud. Nobody else will be able to use it. And a lot of organizations, especially highly matured or like larger organizations, will be able to afford a private cloud. And some companies will go for a public cloud only, because just like startups and small companies, it's always easy for them, cost effective and everything. So that's why they will use the public cloud. But yes, and some can go with a hybrid also, because you have a complex organization. Only few applications can be going on to the public cloud. The rest all can stay in private cloud, and they can talk to each other. So that will be fine. Okay. So net, what's going to happen is, okay, the cloud offering is nothing but where your actual elements or the application is going to reside. Okay, and when you share more with other companies or other individuals or organizations, the cost is also getting shared. So you'll always will be able to save a lot of money on your computing costs. The second advantage is that It's not just the cost, but look at the overhead and headache. Okay, what you're going to take when you have everything in your on-prem. So you need to take care of their regular upgrades and patching. You need to take care of any production issues or any incidents that are going to happen, and you need to take care of any other costs that are going to incur for this compute. Like it can be anything. Okay, so and you need to comply with a lot of regulators when you are managing all these things and you're on-prem. So these are some of the pain points that can be removed if you go for a public cloud. Okay. And the another advantage is that, okay, let's say in a traditional way, you wanted to create additional 10 servers and add it to your application because you are seeing an increased volume of users for your application. Okay. Let's assume it's a e-card kind of a thing. Okay. But in the normal scenario, or when you maintain this computer on-prem, what happens is it's going to take 3 to 6 months to really get this entire compute approved, ordered, getting that compute to your in house, and then configuring it, adding it to the load balancer, and everything is definitely going to take more time. But with the public cloud, okay, offering, okay, whatever the offering, it can be AWS or Azure or anything, okay. Um, but what's going to happen is when you look at these public cloud offerings, okay, and all other things, okay. So net, the most effective way is actually what is the cost that you're going to look at, and also what are the various additional advantage. So it's not just only the cost. It let a lot of like for example, resiliency is one of the major factors where a lot of people will tend to use public cloud or any other private cloud. So what do you mean by resiliency? Is that, let's say you are running your application and all of a sudden, for some reason, the application stopped working. One way of fixing the problem is understand what is the issue, go fix the problem. Okay. But it depends on where the problem is and what type of problem it is. Is it like a platform issue, or is it like a config issue, or is it a application issue? All depends on that. The time that it is going to take to fix the problem is going to vary. Okay. This is standard called it incident management, and somebody from production management is going to prioritize that and then fix it the problem. Okay. But while you are fixing the problem, you are going to impact your customer because your application is not available based on, like, let's say your mttr is 4 hours or 5 hours. So mttr is nothing but mean time to recover, which is the time taken to really to recover your systems. Okay. So if it is taking 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, it depends, actually it depends on the problem. Okay. Then for those 4 to 8 hours, your customers are not happy, your customers are impacted. What if this is like a financial application where, or an ATM kind of an application, or an online mobile banking application? So can you imagine for a bank, if your mobile banking is not working for 8 hours, okay, what would be the impact? There will be millions of customers that will be impacted. So for those kind of scenarios, okay, you need to have a resilient systems, which is basically can spin your new environment on the fly. Let's say your primary environment is down for whatever reason, it's not working. While we figure out why it is not working, can we just spin a new environment and then make sure the customers are not impacted and then directly talking to that new environment? So that's called a highly resilient environment, actually. Okay. So when something is going down, parallel you are creating a parallel environment so that your customers are using that parallel environment while you are trying to fix this existing environment. Okay. So that's called resiliency. And public cloud offerings like AWS and all have that beautiful facility. Like AWS has something called EC2, Elastic Compute, okay, where it will be able to create, basically upgrade or downgrade, basically scale up, scale down, and any number of instances within few seconds actually. Okay, so within few seconds, if you are able to get your parallel environment ready, and then your customers are not impacted actually. So even though you have an issue which is may going to take more than 4 or 5 hours, but that's absolutely fine, and other day you are not impacting the customers. So that's one of the, like, the most advantage of the cloud basically. Okay. And similarly, you have the maintenance headaches gone down, your regulatory headaches gone down, your compliance and all these things will be going down. But on a similar note, one of the disadvantages of cloud is also that it is a black box for the developers or some of the companies that are using it. Why I'm saying black box is, let's say similar incident happened. If everything is in your control, you can go deep, dig deep, and you will identify your problem where it is. But in AWS, you will not be able to you will not be able to get the complete control of your environment. I'm not saying you'll not be able to have the tools or the logs that are available. It will always be available, but you will not have the complete control of your environment because it is shared environment. Not one person or one individual from any company will be given that complete control. Of course, Amazon will maintain that, and you need to trust them. You need to engage them when there is an issue. Okay, and of course, these engagement costs and the delays and all these things will add up to the fixing of the problem. Okay, but one thing that they will always say is, yeah, you all have a parallel environment running. Okay, you don't need to worry too much about it. Actually, is a response. So that's one of the disadvantages of cloud. So it is basically cost versus control. If you need more control, you want to do everything, go with on-prem, the way current way. But obviously, the kind of cost that you're going to save by moving to public cloud is huge, more than 90% in some of the application areas that you will save. Okay, so then obviously organizations will lean towards that cloud offering. Okay, so that's what at a high level. Okay, your public cloud. And so some of the things that, so when you look at these things, there are primarily three different types of offerings any public cloud provider is going to do. And there are some additional things nowadays coming up, right? But let's talk about only the high level primary thing. So let's say I have a public cloud company, okay, and I am saying, okay, I'll just give you only the servers and underlying networking and all the storage required, all the hardware or the hard disk or compute storage required. You build your own platform, you build your own applications. Then this is called infrastructure as a service, because I am just providing only infrastructure, okay, as a service to multiple companies. Anybody can come and use this infrastructure as a service. Okay, that means you can come and then put your middleware on a server, and then on top of it you can put your application. So then your platform and your application is actually owned by you because they're deployed by you. Any issues in those two layers, you need to take care of it. But any issue on the infrastructure side, the cloud provider will take care of it. So this is basically called infrastructure as a service. So you are providing infrastructure as a service. That means from AWS terminology, or the cloud offering will be infrastructure as a service. So this is actually going to save a lot of cost on the compute itself. Okay. But at the same time, you may think that, okay, good, I'm just getting hardware and all this stuff, but why should I take risk of maintaining all my platform? Okay, why can't I just get a ready-made platform? Okay, like your um, WebLogic, WebSphere, Tomcat, okay, or any MQQs or any databases ready-made, okay, so that I can just worry about only my application that I'm building. Good, you can all go for a platform as a service offering, okay, where all these things, okay, your runtime, compute, and basically along with infrastructure, you will also get your databases and all these things pre-configured. then that is called platform as a service. So the advantage of using platform as a service is, as I mentioned earlier, you are not worried too much about, okay, maintaining and managing or patching and upgrading of all these middleware platforms. Okay, because the cloud offering, whoever is offering cloud, like AWS, will take care of it. Okay, and any issues in that space, they will take care of it. You need to worry only about application. That means what you are developing for your customers. Good. So let's say you are only developing your applications and you are using both infrastructure and a platform as a service. Okay, from AWS. Good. You can also have something like, okay, let's say there is something in the industry that you know which is a good application. Okay, and your customers need it, but they need someone who can provide that as a service versus actually uh, building the application on their own, or maybe you wanted to offer this as a service to larger public and everything. Okay, maybe you can do your own customization and everything. Then what you can do is, rather than building my own application, why can't I just use one of those existing applications as a service? So that's called application as a service, basically. Let's say we are using Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel. Earlier, you need to install your Microsoft Word and Excel on your local laptops with a key, and you need to pay for individual licenses. Now, Office 360 is a completely cloud-based solution. You can just use your Microsoft Word and everything only on a browser, okay, and then just pay for those licenses. But look at the license cost changes; it drastically changed actually, okay. And this is basically a cloud offering, and you're just using that application as a service. That's one of the best examples. Or any other like cloud-based application that we are using directly versus building it. Actually, you don't need to build each and every application. If there's an application that is existing already, okay, you can just take application as a service, okay, as an offering, and then use that application. Okay, of course, you can ask for some customizations and whatnot. It's up to them. So it depends on what type of service you are getting. Are you getting application as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service? So these are the three different flavors any cloud company can offer. Okay. Now we have some additional things, like we have function as a service, you have mobile backend as a service, okay, or we have container as a service. So nowadays, like everything is becoming like a minute thing, and so function as a service is nothing but serverless, basically. Okay, like for example, AWS has something called Lambda, okay, where you don't need to even worry about where your server is, what your server configuration, all these things. If you just wanted to run one particular function, one particular feature, okay, why should you worry about the entire application? It's just a small feature. Why can't we just deploy the feature directly and then service it? Okay, so that's called function as a service. Okay, so that's another thing. So as I already talked about, okay, there are three different deployment models. Okay, deployment models in the sense where your cloud exists. Okay, is it on your premises? That is called private cloud. If it is outside of your premises, which is shared across multiple people, then it is called public cloud. If you have a combination of both, that means some on premises and some outside, then it is called hybrid. Okay, so it depends on the individual organization. Okay, based on their requirement, they can pick and choose what is the right offering for them. Okay, and also there are some specific cloud things that offering that you will be able to see. Okay, some people will offer a cloud only for the large data storage, like the big data cloud. Okay, some people will offer a cloud offering only for a specific type of computing, like a distributed cloud kind of a thing. Okay, some people will offer a multi-cloud facility, like let's say what do you mean by multi-cloud is that, okay, so I have a company, I wanted to use public cloud. I can choose between AWS, Azure, Google, or any other public cloud offering, right? But sometimes based on my application or based on the cost and everything, I may need to use different flavors of the cloud. Okay. So for some application, may need AWS. For some applications, I may need Azure, some Google. Okay. That's my best fit options actually. I can have that multiple cloud offerings. Okay. One, I should buy all the individual licenses and then manage myself, or you can go to a third party multi cloud offerings. Okay, there are a lot of companies like that where they will aggregate everything from various cloud providers and they will provide that entire thing as one service. So they will say, don't worry about any of this backend licensing and all these things. We will take care of that. You just host your applications with us. We'll host it appropriately based on your application configuration, and you just pay a common charge for us. And they will be working with the backend cloud providers. They will look into the charging and maintenance and all these things. Actually, those are like a lot of other. So multi-cloud, poly-cloud, these are the similar things actually. Okay, so these are the various cloud offerings that you have, okay, in general. Okay, and yeah, this is what I have already talked about, right? So service models, okay, software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. Okay, and deployment models we just talked about: private, public cloud, hybrid cloud. Okay, and these are the various cloud offerings. Okay, so there are some high performance cloud offerings also, like let's say you are using any gamifications or gaming applications. Okay, or maybe some of the high end computing, let's say it's like a live cricket game. Okay, and you wanted to use these cloud offerings, and you cannot basically afford any delays in that streaming or any of these ball to wall analysis and details, right? Okay, because a fraction of second will actually lure the betting people, okay, to maneuver the entire game actually. So that's basically where you need high end computing, like very fast responses and very fast immediate details. Okay, so these are the things that where you can use. So these are like flavors of cloud offerings. Okay, and one of the important things that we need to look at. Okay, so how can we make sure, okay, the cloud is highly resilient, secure, okay, and it's scalable, okay, and it's affordable and all these things actually. So which I think we have looked at various things earlier in the demo. Okay, but we will get into. So now while we get into AWS, one of the things that you need to look at is, okay, so what we are going to learn in this session is that, sorry. So first of all, we are going to look at what are the various offerings from AWS, what are the various cloud offerings, okay, and then we'll see what are the most important things that we need to use on a regular basis, starting with the compute, which is EC2, okay, and then we will go with a specific application. We'll maybe pick one of this microservices application or anything, and we'll actually try to leverage our public cloud offering, okay, or your EC2 instance to deploy that application and create a Jenkins CI/CD pipeline, and also to create a container, okay, which is basically a Kubernetes offering, okay, and demonstrate how you can use the EKS services and load balancing services from AWS, and eventually how to deploy that. And we'll also talk about the cost management and usage, okay, of your compute. Okay, so hope everyone got your AWS account. Okay, and we will actually go through this AWS account on a regular basis. So let's make sure you all have an AWS account and you get your free hours. And heads up, okay, make sure your services are stopped. Nothing is working actually. So every time when you log off, okay, otherwise you will get charged. Okay. So good. So where are we starting? So first of all, I think we should start with what is AWS. Okay, it's nothing but a public cloud offering, just like any other offering. But we want to just do an AWS overview, and then we'll come back here. Okay, so we already talked about what is cloud computing. Okay, and what are the advantages. We just talked about this. One is it's very easy, pay as you go, and economy of scale, which is cost. Okay, and you don't need to worry too much about how much capacity I need, because automatically it will be able to look at the capacity and automatically add it. That's the beauty of EC2. You don't need to even tell how many servers you need. And increase speed and agility. Okay, of course, realize the cost savings. Go global in minutes. Basically, you can deploy your applications globally across the world. Okay, in minutes. So basically, what is AWS cloud? Okay, so uh, let me play this video so that you just summarize. Okay, in a couple of minutes. Okay, what exactly AWS is the world's most comprehensive. You all can hear it? Did you
Yes.
hear the sound?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Just want to make sure. AWS is the world's most comprehensive and broadly adopted cloud platform. Millions of customers trust AWS to power their infrastructure and applications. Organizations of every type and size are using AWS to lower costs, become more agile, and innovate faster. AWS provides on-demand delivery of technology services via the internet with pay-as-you-go pricing. You can use these services to build and run virtually any type of application without upfront costs or ongoing commitments. You only pay for what you use. AWS gives you more services and more features within those services than any other cloud provider. This makes it faster, easier, and more cost-effective to move your existing applications to the cloud and to build anything you can imagine. From infrastructure technologies like compute, storage, and databases, to emerging technologies such as machine learning and artificial intelligence, data lakes and analytics, and Internet of Things. Building on AWS means you can choose the right tool for the job. For example, AWS offers the widest variety of databases that are purpose-built for different types of applications. With AWS, you can leverage the latest technologies to experiment and innovate more quickly. We are continually accelerating our pace of innovation to invent entirely new technologies you can use to transform your business. Like pioneering the serverless computing space with the launch of AWS Lambda, which lets developers run their code without provisioning or managing servers. And AWS built Amazon SageMaker, a fully managed machine learning service that empowers everyday developers and scientists to use machine learning without any previous experience. We are constantly expanding our global network of AWS regions, so you can access AWS services to build and run your applications from anywhere in the world. Each of these regions has multiple availability zones that are physically separated from each other and connected by low latency, high throughput, and highly redundant networking. This makes it easy to design and operate applications that are scalable, fault tolerant, and highly available. Our infrastructure is built to satisfy the security standards of the most risk-sensitive organizations. You also have access to the AWS Partner Network, which has thousands of systems integrators who specialize in AWS services, and tens of thousands of independent software vendors who adapt their technology to work on AWS. With the largest community of customers across every industry, AWS has unmatched experience and operational expertise you can depend upon for your most important applications and every imaginable use case. Okay, so it's the complete marketing material, of course. Okay, it's not giving you any technical details on how you need to manage your applications and all, but it's just an introductory video and more of a marketing material for them. But yeah, it talks about their scale, the size, okay, and gives you more confidence on okay how secure the applications can be and all this stuff actually. Okay, so which is good. Okay, so once you know what is the like various offerings that you have, okay, then you will be able to make a better decision. So in AWS, just like AWS, you also have the same thing on-prem and cloud computing facilities. You will be able to choose what is the best model for you. Okay, and you can actually click here and then see what are the cloud computing deployment models. Okay, the same thing what we already looked at from a Wikipedia perspective. Same infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, and these are various public cloud, hybrid, and on-prem kind of a thing. Okay, which is nothing but a private cloud. So these are the various offerings that you will be able to see. Okay, and same thing with more details on how an infrastructure service okay can be availed. So here you have some good links. Okay, to some demos or some exercises that you can do. So let's say you want to use infrastructure as a service. That means that you're going to build or configure your platform, but you will be using only infrastructure. So Amazon offers like there are multiple flavors of the offering also. Like even the compute, it has its own EC2, but at the same time, Amazon also offers something called Amazon Light Sale. Okay, so Light Sale is nothing but very lightweight compute, which is hardly going to cost 10% of the actual EC2 cost. Okay, so if EC2 is costing you like $100 for a month or a year, this is going to cost only $10. But one of the catch is okay, it's these are all the free servers available at a certain point of time. Okay, and you are just requesting a service or a server at that point of time, you will get only if it is available kind of a thing. Okay, nothing is guaranteed kind of thing. So that's why otherwise in EC2 it is guaranteed upgrade. Like if you need 10 servers, you will get 10 with the standard configuration, but the price is 100% charge. Here you will get on a first come first serve basis based on your computing and the availability of those services, but the cost is going to be just one tenth kind of thing. That's this is becoming very famous nowadays. Amazon Light Sale, especially for the people who are not too much worried about the end user, but they wanted to practice and then do some of this experimentation and everything. Okay, so this is one of the offerings. So basically, this link will help you to walk you through how you can set up your AWS account. Okay, environment. Okay, so let's say you wanted to first prerequisites is nothing but you must have an AWS account. Okay, and how you're going to set up your account and all these things. Okay, so create your account, secure account, set up your AWS CLI. AWS CLI is nothing but command line interface to this entire console that we are using. Okay, and you need a development environment. So again, a AWS development environment. So creating this AWS account, as I already mentioned, everybody must have an AWS account to practice and experience this. You can just, if you don't have, you can actually just on the right side corner, you can say register or create an account. You can just provide your details. And I think one of the things is your credit card details is a must. Okay. And 750 hours free, you will get on top of it, actually, everything will be charged. So it's like a couple of steps that you will be able to do. Second part is secure your account. So once you create your account, one of the things is that you want to make sure this is actually having the multi-factor authentication and everything. Okay, where you set up maybe an OTP or something like that. Okay, extra security you just need to configure. Okay, unless until you see it's like a free account. Okay, and this is another second step. So after this, you are set with your account. Now you need to install something called AWS CLI, command line interface. Okay, so for that, okay, you need to basically download the AWS CLI facility. Okay, and this is what the link is. Okay, let me open up that link. Okay, so based on your operating system. Let's say if you are using Windows, okay, download this AWS CLI. Okay, if you already have the AWS CLI, let me see. I think I should have it. Okay, you can verify it. Okay, just typing. No, I don't have it. Okay, maybe I might be not having it in the path. Okay, but we'll figure out later. Okay, so basically once you install and download this, okay, you can just keep it in a path, and then you will be able to see what is the specific AWS CLI that you're using. Okay, this is the third step. Okay, once the command line interface to this entire console is installed, then what you can actually do is, okay, you can go for setting up your AWS cloud account actually. Okay, so in the CLI, you need to configure when you are typing this AWS version all in the CLI, you need to configure all your details basically. So when you look into this my account, okay, and you have this account settings, you will get all this access key ID and then secret key access and all this stuff. You need to provide those details when you're setting up your CLI account. So basically it's nothing but a command line interface to this console. Okay, so whatever you are doing in this console, you should be able to do it. Okay, from command line. So you need to provide those details. We'll get there. Okay, and once this is all set and done, okay, then we can actually go and then see what is the cloud offering that we need to do. And before that, we need to set up an AWS Cloud9 IDE. Okay, so basically, just like any other NetBeans or any other IDE that you're using for your development, you also have an IDE for the AWS interactions actually. So you can download and set up, okay, that IDE here. Okay, uh, and then you'll be able to just connect to your AWS account from that IDE, okay, and start using that as part of that IDE. Okay, so you don't need to really depend on any other IDE. You can just directly use, or sometimes if you already have an existing IDE like NetBeans, you can just simply use that AWS account to integrate with that IDE also. Okay, so this is the first step. Create your account, set up your CLI, set up your IDE is going to be the first step. Okay, then it will be easy for all of us to start using. Okay, this one. So majority of the time we'll go through the console, but it is good for us to really set up this environment so that we can practice some of these things, okay, like the light sail thing that we just talked about. Okay, so I would expect everyone to go through this. Let me share this link. Okay, uh, setting up your AWS environment. Okay, I would expect everyone to go through this. Hang on, did everyone get it, or did I just respond only in a private chat? Everybody got my message on the chat? Can anyone
Yeah,
confirm?
we got it.
No, I don't think everyone got it actually.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Yeah, I got only no, no, no.
oh, okay, okay. That's the okay, 1 second. Let me see. Okay, I think my default option is different. Now everyone will get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So use this link, set up your environment, and if there are any issues or hiccups in setting up the environment, we will go through that in the first 15 minutes tomorrow. Okay, and after that, we'll just continue using our console and everything. Okay, so this is the first thing. And if you want to use, as I mentioned, infrastructure as a service, okay, Amazon Light Sail is the one thing. So once you set that up actually, okay, then we will be able to go for a launch stack, and then how you wanted to use, okay, the basically the lamp and the light sail to use this application. It will be easy. Okay. So once you set up your environment and set up your Cloud9, these are the prerequisites for this, just to demonstrate infrastructure as a service. Okay. Then we'll be able to see, okay, these two things, which is, okay, setting up, okay, deploy a LAMP web app on your, let's say, okay, we'll be using some of these things. Don't worry too much about this coding or the commands. Okay, these are like upfront available in majority of these forums. Okay. Okay. So you need an AWS account with administrative level access, recommended browser, latest version of Chrome or Firefox. These two things. Just let's make sure you do have these two things. Okay. And before tomorrow's session, then we'll be able to experiment this. Okay. I think Rahul, you have a question.
Yeah. Yes,
What
I
is
do.
this SC 02 or 03 on this course?
Now,
Can you?
for the solution architect, we have SaaSCO2, the new um,
Okay.
blueprint,
Okay.
right? So,
Okay. So the which got changed from September 1st is what you're talking about, is it?
mhm. Yeah.
Okay. So this particular course is actually going to take you through all the fundamentals required, which will help you to go through any of these course certifications, which is your practitioner, associate, or solution architect. Okay. But it is not only like only this course is not sufficient to really clear the exam. Actually, you need to practice some mock tests, which I'll refer some of those mock tests, and you need to spend practicing these things what you have learned here
Mhm.
before you go for an exam. That would be my advice. I know
Okay.
a lot of people will go for an exam, okay, directly without even practicing it. It's not that they cannot clear it; they will clear it, okay, but it's always good you learn it, you practice it, and then you go for a certification exam. Okay. Unless
Okay.
until there is any push from your organization that you have to certify early. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Mm.
No worry.
Yeah. And I'll share like once while we are continuing this journey, as part of the journey, I'll share few things, and at the same time, at the end of the course, I'll share few basically resources how it will help you to get the certification and everything. Okay.
Sure. Thanks.
Okay. No problem. Any other questions from anyone? Okay, thanks everyone. So for tomorrow's session, please make sure you have these two things ready. You have your AWS account, everything created. You have CLI and ID installed, and make sure you have either Chrome or Firefox. Okay, so that it will be easy for us. And you can just follow along. You don't need to wait for me to go through this tomorrow. If you are done, if you have time, just go through and then try implementing this web application light sail on light sail compute. Okay, and then we can talk about any issues that you may have. Okay, it will be easy for us. Okay, and those folks who have never experienced IT, has not done any development or anything before, don't worry. Okay, just follow the instructions. Okay, and still, if you have any issues, tomorrow we'll take care of that. Maybe we'll start with some of those issues, and then we'll actually go from there. Okay.
Do we get this recorded video? Can we get this link?
Yeah, yeah. Whatever you are going through now on a daily basis, it will be shared to you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, thanks everyone. See you all tomorrow.
Thank you.